Welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium. It's Ghost Week over at Zelda Informer, so we thought we'd do a special entry where we focus on our favorite ghosts in the series.
And there are a lot of them.
Yeah, first we were talking about, let's just talk about all the ghosts. But then when you consider the enemies and then the characters, there's just way too many.
And then there was a lot of ones that were like, we didn't really know if they're ghosts or not. Is Princess Zelda from Spirit Tracks a ghost?
Yeah, or there's the sages in Wind Waker.
You're right,
I don't really consider them ghosts.
Yeah, we don't know what a ghost is.
Yeah, what's a ghost or a spirit? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but we picked within a reasonable amount our favorite ghosts.
My favorite ghosts are the Post Sisters from the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time. I think they fit the mood of the dungeon because it's kind of an eerie dungeon and it's got the theme music adds to it. I just have vivid memories of the first time playing the game, just going up and down the stairs, and then there's the paintings, and sometimes they're there and then they like laugh at you and disappear. Now, in hindsight, when I think of the battles now, they're kind of a joke. But, 4 different colors. They got different character models, some of them.
Their presence adds, character to the dungeon, too.
Yeah, they're like their own, like, it's almost like a mini boss. It's throughout the whole dungeon, too, because you got to find all 4 of them.
So, I'm going to also pick one from Ocarina of Time, and I'm going to go with Dampé. I like that you interact with him in both ghost and like regular human form. You meet him first when you're a kid,
and he's just an old man.
I don't know, you get a decent amount of like story about his life working for the graveyard. But then I like when you go
7 years later, he's dead.
He's dead, and you can go in his grave. And not only that, but he's like totally down to just race you. And he gives you rewards for beating him.
Gives you the hook shot.
Yeah. He's like one of the most crucial characters in the game. One thing that I'm curious about is why then his grave leads to the windmill. Yeah, I want to know more about the origin of this grave, who built it, and why it does that.
So my second one is, I don't think it has a name, actually. I think it's just called a ghost. And it's the ghost from Link's Awakening. Like, he's kind of annoying, actually, at first, because he just appears outside, and he's just, like, following you around. And he wants you to take him home.
Yeah, you have really, like, no choice but to take him.
Yeah, you can't progress, I don't think. You can't continue onward with the game. So you have to take him to his house at the south end of the island. And then when you go there and he just, like, wanders around, it's like, oh, it's great. Pure nostalgia. After seeing his house, he is now ready to move on to the afterlife. And you gotta take him to the cemetery. That concludes the quest.
I like it. It's like a nice little... I guess it's not a side quest because it's required.
It is sort of required, actually. I found ways where you can beat the game without glitching and completely avoiding this quest, actually. All you have to do is when you go to the 4th dungeon and you get the dungeon item, you leave. You never finish that dungeon. Then you go and beat dungeon 5, 6, 7, 8. And then after beating the 8th dungeon, you can go back and then you beat Angler's Tunnel. And doing it out of order never triggers that event to happen because you can go right to the end of the game. People who play that way, that ghost is lost in purgatory forever.
I like it though, because for such a not primitive but an old game, it's got this nice little sad story in it. And I specifically remember his house having this kind of sad little song that plays when you're in it, and you can go in there before you meet him, right?
Right. Yeah. And there's like not much to it. You really don't know what's going on there.
That's cool that you can go there and be like, what is this? And then later you encounter him.
And props to Zeldapedia for the name. The ghost is not named anywhere, but they call it the Nostalgia Ghost.
I love that. My final one is the Composer Brothers, specifically in Majora's Mask, actually. In that game, one of them is really aggressive towards you, and the other one teaches you Song of Storms to play to him to kind of calm him down or whatever it is. And so that was a cool little story element to throw into there.
I really like their names as well.
Flat and Sharp.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's just a cool little, it's like, oh, they're composers, so
I believe like a lot of Zelda there's a lot of situations like this in Zelda. They base them off of Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have mustaches, and one wears red and one wears green.
Yeah, I believe that this is one of those cases.
Yeah, that's great. And their character animation is they're almost like conducting, kind of. So that was cute.
Yeah. So Ocarina of Time took 3 of our 4.
Yeah, and there's even more in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
That could be said. I wonder what it is. Do you think that goes back to like when we were talking about our favorite dungeon themes? Do you think we just remember them better?
Potentially, yeah.
Because I think there are other good games that have cool ghosts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mentioned, if Zelda from Spirit Tracks counts,
yeah,
she's a more prominent character, not just one little quest or something.
And you could maybe argue that if that's considered a ghost or whatever, that's probably the best one because it's a character who's there throughout the whole game.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of like friendly ghosts like that, but then there's the big bosses, like a Death Sword from Arbiter's Grounds, and
that's just a cool ghost.
Yeah, he looks like evil, and I always liked the like I mentioned, the Poe sisters as one of my favorites. But likewise in Phantom Hourglass, the Cubist sisters. It's just the different colors, and they got the weird, quirky little faces.
I'd be interested to hear people's favorite ghosts, because I think we're talking there isn't a Zelda game that doesn't have a ghost.
Yeah, unless you count like the Legend of Zelda had, I guess, the little guinea enemies.
Those are ghosts.
Yeah.
You got to give props to that, and it's cool because they had the graves and stuff.
I like you go to the graveyard and there's only one of them. Well, here's a fun strategy in getting a lot of items.
Okay.
Fun tips with Mossy's here. So, if you go to the graveyard in The Legend of Zelda, there's only the one guinea floating around.
Okay.
And then if you touch any of the graves, more guineas start appearing. But you can't kill any of the guineas. The only guinea you can kill is the original one that's on the screen.
Oh, wow.
So you can go around, touch as many graves as you can, but you have to keep your eye on which is the original guinea. And then you kill the original guinea, and then all of them die, and they just drop a bunch of rewards.
Oh, that's awesome.
It gets really risky, though, when there's a lot of guineas, and you forget which one is which.
Oh, boy.
But then you can just go to the next screen and come back.
This has been Fun Tips with Mossy's. Let us know some of your favorite ghosts. There's plenty to pick from. Let us know what other topics you'd like us to discuss, and thanks for watching.